Alright guys, so first thing we gotta do, take off all the bolts on top and then pull off the whole cams and everything as one unit. Keep these separated. So you want to push them together so that way you don't let go of these little springs that are in the valves. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and take off all the bolts. I'm then going to go ahead and take off the caps, the cam caps on each one. Leave them the way they are in sync. Put them down on the floor so I know where they go, so that I can try to put it back together as I take it apart, or once it's apart. So first step.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Alrighty guys, so I ended up putting zip ties on the whole unit itself, and I also ended up putting them on the rotating assembly for the lobes. So I did all that to make sure all the springs and the little guides that are in there to move around stick in there, and that way that nothing's missing. I double checked on my rags right here that I have here, make sure none of them came out, and everything is just zip tied. All of them are there. I just put the caps back on to make sure that they all go to how they're supposed to go, facing the cams, so the gears. So that's how I know they're going straight, and we are correct. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the head now. I gotta take off the ARP head studs and then go ahead and take out these, put these in a bag, label them the LMAs, because you do not want to forget that, guys. Do not forget your LMAs, because if not, you will be screwed and have to redo all this shit again. So yeah, just word of advice, don't forget those. So let's go ahead and take apart the head now, and that way we can get to the lower block.
Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I'll look.
Alright guys, so the head is off. Head looks to be a good head gasket. Actually looks really good still. You know, so it looks like it did the job when we did it last time with Dana, how we just did it, how Hunter Tune did, where he just basically replaced one by one and made sure that it was seated correctly and tightened down as we did all that torque down to make sure we didn't have no head lift or any of that. Head gasket, like I said, is really good. I might be using it again. I'm just kidding, guys. I ain't gonna do that shit. Everything's gonna be new on this car. Majority of it is gonna be brand new. So head gasket is no good. We're not going to be using that. So now I got to remove the head studs, the ARP head studs, and then remove the washers from the head also, so that I can put it in the same bag with the LMAs, so that way it's all the head package that goes together inside, and we know it's all uniform with it. So let's go ahead and pull that out. I got to pull out the guides here once that's gone, or once we pull out the ARPs, so that way it can go along with the head, so we know it has to go in the heads to align the head correctly. And I know, guys, the way I took off the head with the impact of the ARPs is not how you're supposed to do it. It's just what I did because I can't find my breaker bar, and I know I would have struggled with the ratchet itself. So do it with the ARPs or the impact. It is what it is. Should be fine still. Either way, I don't think I'm gonna be using these head studs anymore. just because we want to upgrade to the higher torque ones. I think it's the L19s, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see what happens. But either way, these should still be good, and we should be able to use them if we need to use them again. But all that's still in debate right now. Alrighty guys, so everything is put in the bag. You got the ARP head studs with the washers, the LMAs, you got the guides, you have everything that belonged with the head, taking it off. Like I said, the head studs and so on and so forth. All I need to do is pull off this guide right here. I'll worry about that after. So we're gonna go ahead and flip the engine over now and see how bad the crank bearings are. I know they're pretty much destroyed just because of how much material was in the oil pan when we drained everything, when we did the first, when we swapped it out to the new motor. So I know it's gonna be bad, but either way, we're replacing all that stuff. I know I still got to look for a crank, and that's the only issue that I got to find is a damn crank still. I thought I found one. Unfortunately, the guy ended up selling it. He didn't keep his word, and I'm still on the lookout for a K24 crank. So if any of you guys got one local for a good price, that's good. That's the standard sizing. Let me know. I will test it to make sure it's good. And then if not, you just have to figure it out. But yeah, let's go to get to the crank bearings. Alrighty guys, so oil pan is off, everything is off now. Pretty much it's just the block. I gotta take off the sensor there also. Just noticed that I gotta take off this here before we take it to the builder. Again, I can't take off the girdle just because it's connected to this. So it should be fine still because we're not using the crank. All you have to do is take off a couple bolts, and that's pretty much it. But I also do not have, I checked in my toolbox to see if I had the inverted, I guess it's an inverted torque bit, a socket, and I do not have one. So I got to go to Harbor Freight, pick one of those up so we can take that off, take off each one, check them out, and see how it is. But yeah, so let me run to Harbor Freight, pick that up, and we'll pick back up, guys. Alrighty guys, so we ended up going to Harbor Freight and ended up picking up these sockets here. It looks like they're an inverted torque bit socket. So from what I read on Google is that they call it an E14. That's the one that you need to take off the rod bolt caps, so that we can take off the rods, take out the piston setup. So what we're going to do is take off number 1, then go to number 2, number 3, and number 4. Or we can easily just take out the same pair because I know which one goes to which one first and number 4. So as I was there, I ended up picking up some more zip ties and this little thing here so that I can put all of my titanium hardware on that I have backup for. So for the next motor, because I do have extra hardware, so I want to be able to maintain that and save it and keep it somewhere safe, and that way it's just not floating around. So let's go ahead and take off number 1. We'll take off number 4 at the same time. That way we can check them out, and then we'll go ahead and twist the crank and check number 2 and number 3 itself. And guys, this has a lot of play. That scared the shit out of me, but this right here has a lot of play in between the bearing itself. Hopefully, I mean, either way, it's all getting replaced. So alrighty guys, so we took off one of them, and let me see if you guys can see it, but there is no bearing material whatsoever. No bearing material. You can see all of the chunks on the side here. It's not supposed to be like that. It was eating through the caps itself. So you can see here, look at just, where'd it go? It's right here. Shiny. And look at this right here, guys. This is all that was left. Pieces of the bearing. And yeah, I can say crank is 100% scored and no good. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this one out and see the rest of the damage to it, and then we'll move on to the next one. Guys, when I say this was toast, sorry for the glare, let me see. It is toast. Look at how that bearing material just ate itself away. Rod is officially cooked. And by the looks of it, looks like I was bending the rod. I'm not sure if that's the way the rods are supposed to be. I've never taken one of these apart, but this is cylinder number 1. And yeah, complete chaos inside of the block itself, man. Thank God we're putting new piston and rod set up, so we should be safe on that end. Either way, I'm gonna put everything back to how it's supposed to be. I took it out the way it is, so I'm gonna put everything back in, put the bearing material so that way they can see everything, and that way I can take it to the builder to make sure that we're golden. But yeah, this shit is 100% toast. So let's move on to number 4. All right, guys, so this one is actually not that bad. It's a little bit of wear, nothing really bad. It still has the coating on it. It's a little bit of heat to it, from what I can see, but at least it has the bearing and it has the whole thing. You can see that it had a little bit of wear on it, and yeah, still scoring right there. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but we're gonna go ahead and continue turning this apart and putting it back together once we get it back from the engine builder. Or he's going to do everything basically. He's going to make sure we're good on that. Even the cam, I'm not the cam, the rod bolt cap, or the rod caps, it's on tack still, so I don't get it. I mean, it looks like we just lost cylinder number 1 in all reality. So it is what it is, I guess, but sucks at the same time. So let's move on to the next cylinders. Cylinder number 2. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen them all just to make sure that they're done. Alrighty guys, so as you guys seen, pretty much, you know, we pulled out all the pistons, pulled out everything, and the only one that really had wear is cylinder number 1. Number 1 is totally toast. Bearing is pretty much gone. There's only a very little bit of bearing material on here, but it's nothing. It just literally was like chunks that it had, which is right here, that it had on the bottom bearing on the other piece of the bearing. And you can see that the rod again is destroyed and grooved. As far as the crank goes, crank is no good, none of the left, even when I ever heard it. Once you get a rod knock, you're pretty much screwed and you need to get a new crank. So you guys can see this right here. This is totally eaten into the crank, and that would have to be polished out, I guess cleaned and whatever, and you have to take a heavier bearing on it, or a thicker bearing, which I don't want to do. People are telling me to stick with standard size bearings, which is the reason why I got the kit that I got on that deal. And number 1 is the one that has the main issue. Number 2 doesn't really have any issues. Let me go and get the flashlight real quick. So you can see right there, it has a little bit of wear, normal wear from what I would consider, but you know, nonetheless, it is kind of eating into it a little bit. It does have a little bit of wear to it, more wear. But number 3 and number 4 don't have any wear on them. And let me go ahead and turn the crank so you guys can see that. But number 4, number 3, and number 2 is just mainly this haziness that it has, but it could be just the liquid, which the oil, I'm probably sure that's what it is. But you guys can see down there, if you guys can look into closer, look at all of what was eaten on the crank. The bearing was absolutely just toast and ate the shit out of it. So that is the reason why it sounded like a bag of bolts in my, you know, block when we were at Weekfest and turning it on. And I'm surprised the engine just did not seize at that point, but you can see all the wear on it. So unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do more right now in this video. I did what I said I was going to do, which was take apart the block, took out the pistons, took off the head, took off everything. Everything looks pretty good as far as the rest of it. We are going to be upgrading to the valve springs, retainers, the keepers, and the locking pins and all that. So all that's going to get replaced. I'm still debating on the valve train itself, the actual valves from the exhaust and the intake. From what I've been told is to upgrade it, but I have to upgrade it to the coated ones, which will actually handle heat, and instead of breaking and snapping, they'll just bend and it won't cause for you to lose actually a full cylinder or detonate the piston, from what I'm aware of. Don't quote me on it. That's what I was been told. People have their own opinions, and this is what I was told by my builder. Either way, my tuner actually just told me to go ahead and leave the stock valves on them, clean them up, make sure it's just good. Make sure the seats are good, and we should be okay. Just like the cams, I'm not upgrading them at this point in time. He says there's no need for that, to do any of that. Just like the cam gear, don't upgrade it just because there's no need for it. The car made great power on a stock K24. So now with the piston rod, valves, etc., you know, we should be able to make 600, 650 with no issue and still be safe 100%. I did talk to Dana, and Dana's the one telling me like, hey, you already felt you're at 575 now, just crack that 600, leave it at 600, and that way you have a 600 horsepower car, which I might end up doing, but at the end of the day, I would still like for it to maintain just the drivability. And I know it's only 25 horsepower, but at the end, for me, I would rather just have a fully built car with the power behind it still, and still be able to drive it safely and adequately to where we don't have any issues. But pretty much that's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. You guys seen we took apart the head, took apart pretty much the whole block. Just gotta take off a few sensors. After that, pretty much we're golden. I'm gonna go ahead and take the engine after I clean it up a little bit more. That way we don't get an oil, find a box for it, put it in, take it to him and get it sent off to the machine shop. Pay him in full so that way he has everything he needs, and that way we can just wait for the block to get done. It's gonna be a process, but I'm stoked nonetheless, because meanwhile I'm still enjoying the car, guys. One thing I learned on this motor is not to be stupid and just two-step every single moment you have an opportunity and get happy-footed. I don't want to do all that, and I want to make this engine last, because we do have a game plan for it, which is the reason why, if you guys seen the last video when we went to the turkey runs, car did absolutely amazing. It killed it out there for the 2 little passes. I would love to have done more passes, but unfortunately axle took a crap. We are going to be doing a little bit more upgrades to the differential here soon, so stay tuned for that. Also, my homie Brandon, we have shit up. We're working a deal so that we can get the diff refreshed, 100% gone through, and make sure that it's just good to go, because the diff is working perfectly fine. It's just, it has not been gone through. And one thing he told me was to make sure that the disc inside the viscous is absolutely still good, because we don't want to fry those discs, because they're very hard to find, since this one is an internal viscous inside of the diff itself. So stay tuned for all that. We do have more content coming up, but for today, guys, that is going to wrap it up. I got to get my ass inside the house, get ready, actually head to the swap meet, pick up an outfit, because today is my wife's Christmas party dance, party, whatever you want to call it, and your boy got to look good, I guess you could say. I'm just fucking with you guys. I'm just gonna go look for a shirt, man, and call it a day today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. You guys finally see what the carnage was on the K24 that we had in it previously, and hopefully you guys are stoked for the build to come, because we're really gonna get serious with this. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Till next time.